Hello everybody. Quick project today. I mention my Cobra torches all the time, my oxyacetylene setup, which I will show you at some point. One of their features is it works off of low pressure, both on the oxygen and the acetylene, about 5 pounds of pressure. So Cobra sells a low pressure regulator. This is an oxygen one I just purchased. I've been wanting one of these for years. I finally just got this the other day. It was billed as used, but the person that sold it thought it was just brand new out of the box. In receiving it though, I see that it's different than the Cobra regulators that are sold now. And I think that is because this is probably an older model. I'm not sure. So I noticed the knob is different. The newer ones have kind of a star-shaped knob. Also, this has a pressure release, I guess, down here. The newer ones do not. And most importantly to me is because these work on low pressure, you need to be able to regulate that pressure easily. If you look here, the lowest number listed is 10. And this goes down by 2, so it's 10, 8, 6, 4, and then 0. The newer ones, they actually go up by a hash. Each hash mark is 1 pound of pressure, 1 psi, and the first printed number is a 5. So you can actually get even closer. So I want to replace this regulator, gauge on the regulator, the output gauge. Again, this is the input gauge. Usually you hook your tank up here. When you open the tank, this will read the tank pressure. And then as you turn this adjustment knob in, that's the official name. It's not the thingamabobber that I called it on my other video. As you turn this in, this dial for your output will start going up. So what I'm going to do now is remove this, and so I need to know the measurements of the threads there, and I can send that to the gentleman I'm talking to on the phone. It's the same place I bought the rebuild kit for the Victor oxygen regulator in my other video, and he's gonna see if he's got something with a lower pressure reading that he can sell me. So I'm gonna do that right now. Let me set you up, make sure you're in the right place. Can you see? No, not quite. Maybe. All right, I've got you set up. So basically I'm removing the output gauge. I've got a 7/16 inch wrench here, and I'll just carefully remove it. I don't want to damage anything, of course. I don't see why I would, but just stating the obvious. So the thing is, so all of these gauges, regulators and gauges, they may have very specific they all have a specific thread, obviously, but some, I think Harris, for example, has a specific pitch too, like this. It seats in specifically for their regulators. So you can't necessarily just grab any regulator for any gauge for any regulator. So I'm going to get a thread pitch gauge, measure these threads, and then the guy wants a photograph of it with a ruler next to it. So I'm going to do that. Be right back. So I'm trying to measure the thread pitch here, and I'm suspecting it was 1/8 inch National Pipe Thread NPT 27. So this, if for anyone doesn't know, it's a thread pitch gauge. They come in metric, they come in standard. National Pipe Thread is a standard size. You probably can't pick it up, but on every one of these, maybe it'll focus, I doubt it. There's a number stamped into them. So I'm sorting through. This one says 27. So what I'm basically doing is taking the threads and putting that up to it. You might not be able to get it in the video, but let me turn on some more lights. That should help a little bit. So this 27 fits perfectly in the threads of this fitting. So it tells me it is a 27 tooth per inch. I'm sorry, thread per inch. Okay. Another way you can check is this tap is a 1/8 NPT 27 tap. So I can also match not only the teeth, which match perfectly, or the thread cutting portion of the tap to the threads. I keep saying teeth. But also the diameter. It's the same. So that answers that. I'm going to take a few photos, send them to the gentleman I want to buy the new one from. Only about $9 or $10, so still worth it. I bought this regulator for $89. Normally they're $150 new. So $89 plus another, let's say $10, $99. So I'm still doing good. All right, so I'm going to take some photos, send them off, and then I will do some more filming when I get the new part in. Till then, be good. Talk to you in a little bit. Well, it's been, I don't know, 2 weeks, and I ordered a new low pressure gauge for the output side of this low pressure oxygen valve or oxygen regulator, and let's check it out. So it's same size, but as you can see, it starts reading at 2 pounds and then goes up in 1 pound increments. So 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 30. Whereas the original one started, let's see, at each line is a 2 pound increment, and it started at 4, 6, 8, then 10, all the way up to 60. But the Cobra Torch, or the Henrob torch I mentioned that I love to use, it's a low pressure, it works on low pressure, so you use about 5 pounds. So I could technically get 5 pounds in there, but this will be much more precise and allow me to make finer adjustments. So this one is still loose from when I removed it. I want to clean out any residue that was in there, but there's nothing in there. It's clean. Again, we have to be real careful about any kind of introduction of oils or anything flammable whatsoever, even debris. I don't remember if I had mentioned this when I ordered this. I had to check the threads, the thread sizes on that. I believe we did go over that, so this should match. It was recommended to me by the place I bought this that I put a little Teflon tape around there. So let's take care of that. And if you're not familiar, you want to put this on in a clockwise motion, because when you screw it in, it'll help snug it down. I'm not going to put much on there, just enough to kind of take up any kind of gap. That should do. It's even a little more than I want. Alright, so we've got some Teflon tape on there. That's just to take up any gaps that there may be between the threads on this thing and on the regulator. This is brass too, so that's supposed to sort of form a little bit as you're tightening it. You know what, I'm seeing a little bit of old Teflon tape in there. I'm going to get a pick and pick that out. Hang on. Speaking of picks, dental tools are your friends, especially when you're restoring things. Usually, if you talk to your dentist, they just get rid of these things. They can't use them after a certain point, but they're plenty fine to do the kind of work we're doing here. Their forceps are great. These picks are great. They also have ones for scraping. Man, those things are just awesome. I've had these for years and they have done me well. Served me well, I should say. All right. Just the tiniest bit in there I want to get out. There it is. Got it. Woohoo! Party! Okay. Let's insert this carefully. I don't want to put pressure on the glass. It's plastic, but you know what I mean. Got a 7/16 wrench. You want it snug. You want it facing the right way. I think that will do. I don't think I would make another revolution. What I'll have to do next is hook this up to my regulator and make sure there's no leaking from around there. So let's take care of that and double check. Alright, so regulator is hooked up to the oxygen tank. Everything's snug. I'm going to crack open the oxygen. The gauge on the right here should go up, I think it was about 1,700 pounds last time we checked. Alright, crack that open. Now I have 0 reading on the output side because this is all the way out. I'm going to slowly start turning that in and we should see that needle start to move. There it goes. Oh, hang on, I had my cutter, the gas open on the cutter. Alright, there we go. It's at 5. I'd probably put it at 6 before I started using it. Because once you hit the lever here, it'll drop. See how, so the usable, when using it, it's 5, but it'll hold it around just over 6. And it seems to be holding. I don't hear any hissing coming out from the threads over here, so it looks like we're good. Okay, thanks for joining me for that. I know it was quick and easy, but just something interesting, I guess. I appreciate you hanging out with me. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Please subscribe and like if that's what you want to do. Thanks. See ya.